Is it Wayne's World where they say, stop doing your head?
5, 4.
All right, here we go. In 3, 2, stop doing your head.
Just let me go. I wish you would see when we were trying to banter back and forth. He gets mad. He gets dad mad. Red in the face. Anyways, 3, 2. Welcome to another enthralling episode of the Tyler Lennon Show. With us as always, actually not always, our guest today is the legendary Weber Ninja, or if you're anybody from Sulphur Springs, you know him as Brandon Williams. Welcome to the show.
Glad to be here. Thanks for the invite.
Tyler wasn't able to make the episode today, and we are brought on a certified grill master to talk about how you got into it. When did you decide that this was something that you were super passionate about? Then I want you to talk a little bit about this very first sponsored steak cook-off that you're going to be a part of this weekend. And who knows? We'll see where the conversation goes. So
that's a lot of questions. You're going to have to kind of refresh me along the way.
Man, I'm terrible at this. I'm not going to lie. So Tyler's way better. Let's do this. Everybody, Brandon Williams, a.k.a. the Weber Ninja. Tell me, dude, how'd this all start?
So, I've been grilling for a long time. And when my wife and I first got married, my father-in-law, Jimmy Jones, he was the guy that cooked for every family function. He taught me how to barbecue. I was intrigued by it. I wanted to learn from him. He showed me his processes and everything. And I did that forever, like on a stick burner, side firebox type smoker. Just doing backyard cooking type stuff. And then I added my own spin to it and competed a little bit. And then in 2020, right before COVID hit, I'd gotten into Weber's and I bought it to do like hamburgers and hot dogs. Mm-hmm. And so it was pretty neat, and it took about a millisecond for me to realize that there's this whole underworld of crazy Weber fanatics, which I am now. But there's people doing crazy stuff, cooking briskets and ribs and barbecue type stuff on a Weber. So I tried it, and then I was like, man, these are the best ribs I've ever made in my life, right here on a little dad grill. And I was like, this is pretty neat. So that summer, I entered a barbecue cook-off at Backstory Brewery, got second place ribs on a Weber kettle. And I was like, this is awesome. So that's kind of just the high-level version of it. But so 2020 was a weird year for lots of reasons. But so my dad got in some bad health early 2020, ended up passing away in late 2020. But about all the time this kind of a dark time in my life hit, that was my one, not one, but a primary source of joy and happiness. Just grilling, doing stuff. And then and you couldn't go anywhere. Everybody's on lockdown during COVID. So I'm practicing and doing things and practicing and just giving barbecue away and just enjoying my life. And so that's how it all started, but I wanted to document all my stuff, so I created an Instagram page.
Okay.
I didn't want to blow up my Facebook page with ribs and brisket, so I started an Instagram page.
I want to take a pause and let everybody know that prior to the Weber Ninja persona that you took onto social media, Brandon was already very active with memes, creating memes,
right.
Being kind of the joking guy that would take funny videos of him mowing his lawn,
Sure.
Typical, taking the whole ultimate dad, and making sure that the grass is cut, 90-degree angles around the curb, and
it's true.
Super impressive. And then you somehow took that whole joking and making fun of, this I'm so proud of my grass to watch me cook a badass brisket on a 22-inch kettle.
Yeah.
And so
that's true. So if I could be half as good at cooking as I am at memes, I'd be a international sensation. But it's a creative outlet. I've always been creative. I was big into art growing up, and it's a good outlet to stay positive, and you have to think and practice and plan and prepare. But in the middle of all that, you can also not take yourself so seriously and joke around. So I like to mix in funny memes and barbecue-related stuff just because I like humor. Humor makes the world go round, makes everybody happy.
Well, tell me this. So you used to have a Traeger, right?
For a moment in time.
For a moment. And then, so for those of you who didn't know that Brandon and I have cooked in some competitions together, like
Sure.
on the same team, I want you to tell me, like, what was it? What was the moment where you're like, I don't want to do this? Because pellet grills over the last 10 years have kind of taken on like this huge cult following of people who are, pushing buttons and cooking on these grills. What for you made you go, I hate this?
Well, let's back up. So I think anybody that cooks needs to learn on a traditional offset. If you can do that, fire management is where it's at. So that's how I learned. But then my father-in-law actually got a Traeger, and it was pretty neat. And you could just kind of set it, forget it, and do all the thinking for you. But man, those things clog up, and they get so frustrating. And I felt like I had to put more time into making sure the pellets were gravity feeding correctly, and it just was frustrating. I was like, if I'm going to do all this work, I'm just going to cook on a real smoker. But the question that you asked, the moment when I decided I'm never cooking on one of these ever again, I'd gotten a full night's sleep, going out to check and see if my brisket's ready to wrap. I'm just like, man, it's going to be awesome. And there was this error message on this Traeger grill, and it was just raw meat sitting there, and I'm just pissed. And I'm like, never again. So I called my buddy, and I'm like, hey, you always said if I want to get rid of the Traeger to call you, I'm done. He said, what are you cooking on? I said, don't know, but not this. So I got rid of it, and they're great. I'm sure people produce some cool stuff on them, but it just wasn't for me.
You know what's not for me? People like in the next room, like banging pots and pans. I'm not quite sure what's going on over there. So excuse a little bit of the noise there.
Happens. I didn't even hear anything. What do you
Well,
think?
the reason I ask is because there's always that moment where you can think back, like, this is how I want to do something. And you can see there's a clearly defined moment with you where you're like, you know what? I'm going to devote this energy towards cooking, because I had eaten some ribs that you had made on a Traeger before, and I was like, I couldn't believe that these had come off a Traeger.
Yeah,
and
I appreciate it.
But then you switched and made over to the Weber, and I've cooked on Webers pretty much my whole life. And in fact, competed in world on Webers. And all of a sudden, you took the approach towards, no, I'm going to smoke on a Weber. I'm going to take the time to figure out how to cook a brisket on a Weber that can compete with someone who's cooking on a traditional offset stick burner. Stick burners, for those who don't know, are charcoal like smokers, not charcoal smokers. They're smokers where you actually put wood in it. So tell us about that process. What did you do? Did you go online and study? Did you do a lot of like trial and error? What happened there?
Man, there's all kinds of, groups on social media, and you learn from a lot of people, and trial and error, all those things, yes. But I remember at the Backstory Brewery cook-off, I remember me and a couple of buddies of mine who I cook with a lot, we cooked ribs, brisket, chicken on 3 separate kettle grills. Mm-hmm. And we placed in ribs, but we didn't place in brisket or chicken that year. And I probably told you, I'm going to learn how to smoke a brisket, and I'm going to place at a barbecue contest on a Weber kettle, and I've got infatuated with it. I probably cooked, I don't know how many briskets practicing during 2020 and during all that. That was my thing, and I felt like I really dialed in how to cook a brisket on my grill the way I do it very consistently, which is not easy to do. Brisket is hard to do on anything consistently, and I will say this. This isn't necessarily doesn't need to be part of the interview, but like practicing a lot, and it makes you appreciate people that do it for a living. We have a lot of friends that cook barbecue for a living, and I'm trying to get my one brisket perfect for the party I'm hosting, and I'm like, and I'm exhausted. But you're cooking brisket after brisket after brisket every single day of your life, hoping every person that comes to your window and orders it's perfect taste. That's impressive. If you do just a little bit of cooking, you realize how important it is with these people that do it for a living. So shout out to our real barbecue peeps out there.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's something about you that's competitive. Would you say that? Would you agree with a little bit? Okay.
A little bit.
What all kind of competition and stuff have you done? Not just in the food. Have you done? You've done jiu-jitsu?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I've competed in jiu-jitsu, not anytime recently, but I still train jiu-jitsu. But I've competed in jiu-jitsu mostly on the recently. I mean, hamburger cook-offs, a few steak cook-offs, lots of barbecue competitions, things of that nature. But just getting out there, we have competition type stuff at the bank. I work at Guarantee Bank and Trust. We're having an Easter egg contest, and so it's all out war. Everybody's up there is ready to just dominate. We got a real competitive crew up there, so I am too. It's fun. Everything I do, I like to win. It's fun. If it's Monopoly with you, I'm gonna try to beat you. If we play Monopoly tonight, that's just the way I am.
Let's talk a little bit now about Weber.
Let's do that right after a message from our sponsors.
Oh, fantastic. Let's do a shout out right now to our sponsors. I want you to thank you so much to AVCO and to the Beauty Parlor. And I want to shout out to Lindsay Lee as well for sponsoring this episode of the Tyler Lennon Show featuring me, Logan, and Weber Ninja.
At AVCO Roofing, we strive to fulfill our mission statement of protecting homes, strengthening families, and building community. It's more than a slogan. It's the heartbeat of who we are and how we serve our customers. Located in Sulphur Springs near I-30 and Broadway, there's no project we can't handle. Call AVCO Roofing for all your home and commercial property needs.
Hi, I'm Audra Clark, owner and stylist of The Beauty Parlor. We are located at 206 West Shannon Road in Sulphur Springs, Texas. We are Tony and Guy trained, and we specialize in custom cut and color. You're already beautiful. Come let us highlight it.
Hi, I'm Lindsay Lee, realtor at Caldwell Banker Watson Company in Sulphur Springs. Born and raised in Hopkins County, I am the small town realtor you are looking for to help buy or sell your home. I specialize in farm and ranch, residential, and lake properties. Contact me today and let me do the work for you. Get your key with Lindsay Lee.
We're back from our commercial break, and Brandon was about to tell us how this relationship with Weber happened.
So earlier in the interview, I talked about how I kind of started an Instagram page, and then I ended up doing a TikTok, which I always, kind of made fun of people that did all this Instagram and TikTok, but it's all barbecue related, and it's kind of gotten, I don't know, big for my standards, but it's just got a pretty good following. Well, anyway, Weber reached out, and they said, hey, we're starting a new affiliate program, which there are all kinds of different types of ambassador programs out there that Weber's never had one until recently, within the last year. And so they invited me to be a part of they call it Friends of Weber. So they essentially provide me and other people that are in it with different products and accessories and things like that to feature on our social channels. So that might be pre-launch type stuff before it's out to the public. They might send us things.
Oh, that's awesome.
They sent me a big welcome package, this big, humongous 26-inch Weber kettle that I've always wanted, a ton of accessories, smoking wood, Wi-Fi for the thermometer, a little travel, like all kinds of stuff, saying, hey, welcome to the team. And it's pretty cool. I love Weber, and they reached out and saw that I added value. I think they called me a micro influencer. So my daughters were like, oh my gosh. So
what is it like? What is it like having teenage daughters and you have a presence online on social media, or having to go in and do interviews like this, or be featured like as you were in a cooking competition a couple of weekends ago, which is going to be on television? Like how do they kind of come into the mix there?
So I've got two daughters, Marin, who is a junior at SSISD, and Anna, who's a sophomore at SSISD. So Anna helps me with creativity and ideas, and she thinks it's pretty awesome. Marin, not so much. She's just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you have an Instagram. She doesn't even follow my page.
That's hilarious.
And she said, and I'm like, you're not going to support old dad? I mean, what's up? I mean, come on. She said, I'll tell you, I'll make you a deal. You become verified with the little blue check mark. Then I'll think about following you. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess you never follow me.
You need to start going through the process of becoming verified. Go through the process of getting verified on that one.
So, anyway.
Well, whose page she does follow?
Yeah.
She does follow Chad's media.
Love you, Baron.
Let's talk about Herman Marshall.
All right.
Because you are now representing Herman Marshall. Who is Herman Marshall?
So Herman Marshall is Dallas County's first small batch whiskey distillery. And, I like whiskey. I like, drinking a whiskey every now and then too. But what's unique about it and how I came into the fold, some college fraternity brothers of mine purchased Herman Marshall Whiskey Distillery last year. And we were in college at the same time, had a good time together, and obviously kept in touch over the years. And they reached out and said, hey, what goes better with whiskey than barbecue and steak and different things? You're out there, you're active on social media, have a good following. And so they were like, man, and you're competing. How'd you like to represent Herman Marshall, and we'll sponsor you? And I was like, that sounds like a no-brainer. So this coming weekend, state competition we're doing, like that's my first, sponsored event that somebody else is paying for. I'll be there representing Herman Marshall whiskey. Team Weber Ninja will be there representing that brand. It's pretty incredible, pretty exciting.
That is awesome. Well, the real question that I wanted to get to was, why do you think you're going to beat me this weekend? Reign champion of Paris Steak Wars. What do you think you're going to do? What are you going to bring to the table that's gonna dominate my steak?
Here's the deal. So we do, so everybody knows out there watching, we do compete together a lot on different and a variety of things, and so we do get along. But we do compete against each other too. Although it's not too often we compete against each other. But the confidence that I bring to the table, to answer your question, I actually brought last time we competed against each other. It was at the brewery, Backstory Brewery, barbecue cook-off. I got second place second place brisket and second place chicken.
I don't think I won anything at that one.
I don't think you did either.
I'm glad you brought that up.
No, I'm messing with you, but no, seriously, for y'all that don't know, everybody does get along. Logan actually taught me how to cook a competition steak, and it's a unique deal. A lot of barbecue type people have gone and started competing in steaks because you can show up, cook a steak, and go home. And the time frame associated with that process, it's not as lengthy. It's not an entire weekend worth of manpower. But Logan, he came over to the house one time, and I said, I want to learn step by step. And this is a guy that's won a golden ticket for SCA. He's gone to Worlds, and he showed me his exact process. And that's pretty awesome. And so now we're competing, we banter, but I appreciate you showing me how to do it because I've kind of taken a liking to it and practiced a lot since the ribeye roundup here in town. I've cooked I don't know how many steaks practicing, but it's neat, and I appreciate your help too. I know we mess around and everything too. So, but I am gonna beat you.
We'll see about that. At this time, what I'd like to say on behalf of Weber Ninja and I is that we want to invite you this weekend to the Paris Steak Wars, hosted by South Main Iron. It is located on Main Street, right off the square in Paris. The festivities start at 10 o'clock in the morning and go till 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I think it's $20 for a ticket to come out, somewhere around in there.
And benefiting the Boys and Girls Club.
It's benefiting the Boys and Girls Club. You get to do steak sampling, appetizer sampling. They're going to have live music the entire day. It's going to be a great time this Saturday in Paris, Texas. Dude, Weber Ninja, thank you so much for stopping by.
I appreciate you having me, brother.
I appreciate Tyler for letting me jump in on this one while he's off at a baseball game. Baseball. Thank y'all so much, and we'll talk to y'all later.
Thank you.
See ya.